People often begin their journey believing the prize waits at the finish line. They imagine the car, the house, the applause, the recognition. But here's what I've learned after years of chasing those very things. It's never really about the finish line, it's about who you become on the way there. That's why the obsession must be with the work, not the results. The results are just evidence, a reflection of what you've already built within. The true reward is the transformation that happens inside you during the process. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't sit outside every day staring at the soil, demanding to see growth. You water it, you care for the soil, you pull the weeds, you stay patient. And one day, growth shows up not because you were staring at the dirt, but because you were faithful in the watering. The tragedy is, so many people quit before the sprout even breaks the surface. They think it isn't working, and they walk away right before the reward appears. But the truth is, the work was working. It just hadn't revealed itself yet. That's why the real mindset, the real discipline, is showing up day after day, long before results give you any encouragement. I've met countless people who spend all their energy visualizing success, standing at the top of the mountain, imagining the view, but they never practice climbing. And here's the truth. It's not the dream that takes you to the top. It's the climb, it's the blisters, the sweat, the patience, the persistence. You can't skip the climb and still expect the view. So don't wish the path were easier. Wish to become stronger. Don't chase the results, chase improvement. Because if you fall in love with the grind, one day the results will start chasing you. This isn't about trophies, applause, or titles. It's about building a way of living where you measure yourself, not by how loud the world claps, but by how consistently you show up. Progress isn't the recognition you get tomorrow. It's the effort you give today. Recognition fades. Trophies gather dust, but discipline lasts a lifetime. And once you make that shift, once you decide that the work itself is the reward, everything changes. The pressure fades, the enjoyment rises. And ironically, results begin to appear almost as a surprise because you're too busy doing the work to even notice when they arrive. See, most people fix their eyes only on outcomes, the paycheck, the status, the applause. They want to see the finished picture in the mirror right away. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get results first, you get effort first. You get discipline first. And if you're obsessed only with what you can see, you'll quit the moment progress hides itself. Think about it. Someone starts working out for 2 weeks and quits because the mirror doesn't change. Someone starts saving money but stops after a few months because freedom feels far away. Why? Because their eyes were glued to the results, not to the process that creates them. I've seen people who could have achieved incredible things, but they couldn't handle the delay. They wanted harvest without planting, reward without sweat, and life simply doesn't work that way. If your motivation depends on instant results, you're done before you ever truly begin. Results are deceptive. They show up later, sometimes much later. And in that gap between effort and reward, most people disappear. That's where dreams die in impatience. The ones who succeed are those who learn to love the work. They show up not because the reward is visible yet, but because the process has become part of who they are. If you focus only on what you get, you'll quit. But if you focus on who you're becoming, you'll endure. Because the work you do daily isn't just producing something, it's shaping someone. And that someone is you. That's why I call it the trap of chasing results. It sounds like this. I'll be happy when, I'll be satisfied when, I'll keep going only if I see progress now. But if you live that way, you'll always be chasing and never becoming. You'll depend on conditions instead of building conviction. You'll wait for something outside you to give permission to keep going. The shift begins when you say, I'm not here just for the trophy, I'm here for the transformation. Because the process is where the real change happens. Results are just a snapshot, a single moment in time. But the process is an ongoing story, the story of who you're becoming. Every day you commit to the work, you cast votes for your future self. Each repetition, each act of discipline, each decision to stay the course, that's where growth is forged. I once knew a man who dreamed of writing a book that would inspire the world. But he was paralyzed, overwhelmed by the image of the final product. His name on the cover, the applause at the launch. That vision became so heavy that he never started. I told him, don't get obsessed with the book. Get obsessed with the page. 1 page a day, that's all. Eventually, 1 page became 2, 2 became chapters, and chapters became a manuscript. Years later, he had his book. But by then, He had already become a writer through the process. That's the secret. The work doesn't just produce results, it produces identity. A runner isn't made at the finish line. They're made each morning they lace up their shoes. A leader isn't born from a title. They're shaped in quiet moments of decision, responsibility, and integrity when no one is watching. The process shapes the person. And the person you're becoming is worth far more than anything you could achieve. Because results can be taken away. Titles can fade. Money can vanish. But who you become, that stays. If you take one thing from this talk, let it be this. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Yes, daily discipline can feel heavy, but it's light compared to the crushing weight of looking back and realizing you never became who you could have been. Every time you show up, every time you persist, you're building character, and character is what carries you. When results seem far away, if you chase reward without process, you'll end up fragile. But if you embrace the process, you'll end up unshakable. And here's the beauty. When you truly fall in love with the process, the results often show up when you least expect them. You'll look back after a year of steady effort and realize you've climbed miles you didn't even notice. That's the miracle of the process. It makes the journey its own reward. In a world obsessed with outcomes, with titles, numbers, and applause, remember this: results are temporary, but the person you're becoming, that's forever. So, show up, do the work, and trust that every small step is shaping something extraordinary within you. The outcome will follow in due time. But first, you have to show up again and again. That's where the true growth happens. You see, there's something deeply powerful about continuing when nothing seems to be working. When the world is silent, when no one claps for you, when progress hides behind patience, that's when character is built. That's when transformation quietly takes shape. Because real growth doesn't announce itself with fireworks, it whispers. It's the moment you push through fatigue. It's when you choose discipline over doubt. It's when you decide to trust the process, even when the results seem far away. The truth is, most people never make it this far. They lose faith in the silence. They think the waiting means failure, but that's not true. The silence isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every meaningful change in life takes time. The seed doesn't grow the day you plant it. The tree doesn't bear fruit the day you water it. The process takes seasons, and you can't rush seasons. We live in a world that celebrates outcomes, but rarely respects patience. Everyone wants to skip the waiting room of life, to fast forward through the struggle and land directly in success. But if you skip the struggle, you skip the strength that comes from it. You miss the lessons that failure teaches. You rob yourself of the wisdom that only comes from persistence. It's easy to stay motivated when the results are visible, but the real test, the one that defines your future, is staying committed when progress hides. Every successful person you admire has walked through a season of silence. They've all had moments when nothing made sense, when their effort felt invisible, when quitting seemed easier than continuing. But they kept showing up. Not because they saw results, but because they trusted that the work would eventually speak for itself. You see, consistency is not about working when you feel like it. It's about showing up when you don't. It's about doing your best on the days you feel empty. Because those are the days that define you the most. When you keep going despite the silence, you send a message to the universe that you're not working for applause, you're working for growth. And eventually, life responds. Not always in the way you expect, but always in the way you need. So instead of asking, when will I get there? Ask, what am I becoming in the process? Because what you become matters far more than what you achieve. Every struggle, every delay, every challenge is shaping a stronger, wiser version of you. And that version is capable of things your current self can't even imagine. Don't fear slow progress. Fear standing still. Because slow progress is still movement, it's still momentum. The mountain may seem huge, but every step counts. Even when it feels small, even when no one notices, those small steps add up, and one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. There will be days when you question the point of it all, when your effort feels wasted, when your hope runs thin. Those are the days to pause, not to quit. Rest if you must, but never give up on the process. Because giving up will only take you back to the place where you first wished for what you're working toward right now. Remember this, the process is not there to test your limits, it's there to expand them. You're not waiting for success to appear. Success is waiting for you to be ready. So, take a breath. Don't rush what's meant to unfold slowly. Keep showing up. Keep watering your seed. Keep doing the work, even when it's quiet, even when it's unseen. Because one day, all those silent days will speak for you. Your consistency will echo louder than any applause. Your growth will become undeniable. And when that moment comes, you'll understand that it was never just about the outcome. It was about the becoming. So trust the timing, embrace the silence, and remember, every single step, no matter how small, is still taking you exactly where you need to go.